What is going on? This is the Sports Counterpoints podcast. Today is April 23rd, 2025. I got lost in the sauce real quick. I'm GB, Brian, and Coop with me as always. What's up, my guys?
We're back.
Man, stars of the
A lot to talk
show.
about.
Man, time to go. Let's get to it. So we are talking a little bit of golf. We're talking NBA playoffs. We talking, man, playoffs, man. We ain't talking practice, these games.
Right.
And we are talking NFL draft. It's about that time, man. Football gets real for a second, then we're gonna have another lull for a minute, and then it'll get real again. But let's get to it, man. B, you mentioned, which is a good point, bro. Getting to the golf tournament. I was looking this up. Looks like a little different format too. What you got?
Yeah, that was the only reason why I really wanted to mention it, is that it's kind of a fun format for people who like team sports. This is one of the few times a year where golfers create two-man teams and create a golf tournament together. And so the way it kind of works is that the top 33, no, it's the top 50 players get to create their own team. So like Rory gets to pick his teammate. He picked Shane Lowry, and they have to be in the PGA and so on and so forth.
That's cool.
And the way that they do the format is they do alternate shot for 2 rounds, the first and the third round. So that means that one player hits the drive, next one hits the next shot, next one hits the next shot, so on and so forth until the ball's in the hole. And then the other 2 days, 2 and 3, they do best ball. So they both play their own ball, and then whichever score for the 2 of them is the best is what goes on the card. Anyways, it's just kind of fun when you get to see professional golfers team up. They have a good time with it. They still take it seriously. It's still a competition. It's still worth, I think, $8 million, $9 million actually. And so it's something worth calling out. If there are people who are, somewhat timidly interested in golf, they watch the Masters, this would be one of those kind of tournaments to watch for fun, because it's a little bit more interesting. That was it.
Nice. Yeah, that's cool. I was looking it up. I didn't even know about it. The Zurich joint. They got a little mix up, which is cool. It's kind of closer to mini games that amateur golfers play.
Yeah, I guess the one thing worth mentioning is that for those of us who watched the Masters, Rory was playing with kind of battling with Shane Lowry down the stretch, and they're teammates this week. So just 2 weeks ago they were big competitors, and today they're on the same team. They've been on the same team in the Zurich Classic a couple of times and won it once.
Nice. A little easier to compete once you won too. I got no problem teaming up if you got that dub.
Yeah,
so nice.
Year.
Word. Cool. Good stuff. So then we got hoops, man. Warriors are in a game right now. I don't want to say playing because they was getting whooped when I looked. So we got, so yeah,
I heard
you guys.
Jimmy Butler got hurt this game, fell on his back or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so he comes back. Yikes. We'll see what happens because they're gonna need it, man. That team is drastically different with him on the floor. That's crazy.
Brian, no Jimmy Butler. If this is say he can't play a couple games, think Houston wins?
Yep.
Yeah, me too. Okay. All right.
Yeah,
well, Glenn, run down.
But I picked the Warriors because Jimmy Butler is an X factor to get out of this round.
Yep, I'll run it down, bro. I'm with you. We're on the same page. So I'm gonna start with the East Coast. We'll start with the Eastern Conference. Cavaliers and Heat. Cavs are up 2-0. Any thoughts on the series?
I mean, Miami's playing hard, but they can't compete with Cleveland.
Yeah, Cleveland's been cooking this year. B, any thoughts?
Yeah, when we said this one, I think you might have picked it for a sweep, and I picked it for a 5-game series. But the Cavaliers are a very, very good team, playing very well, with the right people in the right places, and the Heat are lucky to be there. I mean, they were 37 and 40. Yeah, they were 37 and 45 in the regular season. There's the East, lets pretty much anybody in the bottom. So there was no real possibility the Heat were gonna win this.
Yeah, I do give them props for even getting there though. They played 2 playing games on the road, and they were Eric Spoelstra did a hell of a job, but he don't have a team to compete with Cleveland, not at all.
No, they're in there. So next you have the Pacers and the Bucks. Pacers are up 2-0.
I think Brian had the Pacers, right? Winning the series?
Yep.
Didn't you have the Pacers? Yeah. Go ahead, B.
Yep.
Take your victory lap now.
Well, I mean, it ain't over. But look, I knew Dame wasn't going to play the first game. But more importantly, I think the Indiana Pacers are the better team. and Milwaukee is just kind of in disarray. And so far, they've been able to win those 2 games, both of which were at home. And so, the real factor is, or the determining factor will be whether or not Indiana can go and take one from Milwaukee in their spot.
Yeah.
This should be a 5 game or 6 game series. It should not, if it gets to 7, Indiana's might be in trouble.
Yeah, I've come around on the Pacers in this series. I'm pretty much taking the L right now on this one. Milwaukee plays. I watched that game too. Milwaukee plays no defense, none at all. I don't know what Doc Rivers and Darvin Ham are doing over there. Indiana is just going to the basket freely whenever they like. It wasn't even funny. I knew Dame was out game 1, but he played, of course, game 2. That spread went from Indiana -6 down to Indianapolis -4, and it just stayed there. So that told me right there that people still thought that Indiana was going to win that game, that they're the better team. And being up 2-0, I'm not sure Milwaukee has enough to come back. So I'm taking the L on this one. The Pacers, I think, got it.
Yeah, that's kind of what it's looking like. Next series, Knicks versus Pistons. Series is tied 1-1.
Well, go ahead, B, because I think the Knicks are in trouble.
So I like the Knicks in this one. I mean, they won the first game. They obviously won the game and were able to kind of get it even. But I think from night to night, this is going to be a dogfight. The Pistons are a talented young team, but I think the Knicks are poised to be able to play better with the more veteran players, with the more experience. I haven't given up on them yet, but obviously at 1-1, it's going to be a little bit more of a fight than they thought.
Man.
Yeah. Look, I picked the Knicks as well, but Detroit has proven that they can score on Tibbs and his defense pretty much, when they want. They can't guard Cade Cunningham, and I just really think, like you said, it's going to be a dogfight, and I think Detroit knows they can beat the Knicks, and it really wouldn't surprise me at this point if they actually do. I think the Knicks are in trouble. This isn't going to be an easy series for them to win. I'm not saying they're going to lose, but it's Detroit's playing.
They gave Detroit home court advantage by letting them win the second game, and now they got to go and take it back in Detroit.
Yep. I think it goes back 2-2. We'll see.
That'd be cool. That'd be good for Detroit, man. They've had a rough go to be even years. Pretty good. And then Celtics Magic, Boston leads 2-0. And I saw Boston was beating Orlando like they stole some earlier. It was bad. What do you thought got in this series? Boston and Orlando. Boston up 2.
Big.
Boston's going to win this. I mean, Orlando's another one of those teams that doesn't really belong. So congrats to them for being here. But if there's any question on who the better team is, it's not in this series. So Boston's the better team. They're going to win.
Yeah, now that.
Yeah, Boston shows up, they'll win. They show up and want to play, they'll win the game. I mean, they go through lulls during the game where it's close and they go up and it's close again. If they want to pull away and win, I mean, they'll do it.
There's such a talent gap, though. I mean, I think this style where they have lulls for a while in games is a problem for them trying to win a championship, but not to beat a 7th seed with a 41-41 record.
Yeah.
They can take a moment off and still win games, but it's a concern for the next round and the rounds beyond this.
Yeah. Yep.
Sure, definitely. Western Conference, so West Side. Thunder, Grizzlies. OKC leads 2-0, and they was whooping the Grizzlies bad too.
I think me and Brian both. I think maybe we both had it 4 or 5. Memphis just can't. I mean, if you look at the regular season between Memphis and Oklahoma, those games weren't close. You're looking at these playoff games; these games aren't close. I mean, they played 5-6 times already this season. 5 of them just haven't been close. Oklahoma City is just completely better than Memphis, and that's just it.
Yeah. While I'm not sure that Oklahoma City wins the championship this year, they probably are the most talented team in the NBA right now. It's just a matter of whether or not they have the veteran moxie to be able to get through a full playoff. And everyone should know what I think of Ja Morant as a leader and of the Memphis.
Oh, you think he's great?
Yeah, right.
He
did get off of a lawsuit, so maybe his head will be a little bit clear. But Memphis Grizzlies are so far from being a team to be taken seriously, and Ja Morant a large reason for that. yeah, you can move on. OKC's got that lock.
Will you take John Moran or Westbrook?
That's tough. I'll probably take Morant.
Austin Reeves.
All right, and then I mean, if he has an actual weapon, they might win that series. Anyway, up next you have the Nuggets and the Clippers tied up 1-1.
I'll start. So I had the Clippers the first game +3 on Fearless One Sports offset, but they should have won that game too. But I really think that the Clippers are better. They should have won game 1. They did win game 2. It would not surprise me if they went back to Denver up 3-1 after they play these next 2 games. And I still think the Clippers are the better team and going to win the series in 6 games. Brian, what you think?
I agree. I think the Clippers are hot. I think Kawhi, when he's healthy, is one of the best players in basketball. When healthy, it's a big asterisk for him. But I said this when we were picking them. You know how much I don't want to like the Clippers or want them to win or anything like that. So for me to say that I'm pretty certain that they're still the better team. I mean, the only win that the Nuggets have is because in overtime by 2 points. Kings just scored. So
yeah, I think Clippers, I think blew that game. They were up like 10 or 12. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, Kawhi's playing good, so we'll see what happens there. Next series, the Los Angeles Lakers versus the Minnesota Timberwolves. Series tied 1-1.
Brian, what is your analysis?
Well, my analysis, which you'll hear a little bit more in my Hogwash section, is that this team needs to wake up and start playing the way that they can. I mean, they played a lot better and actually played some defense in game 2. But they absolutely let the Timberwolves off the hook in game 1. They had a very large lead in the first half of that game and then ended up getting whooped by 22 points in the second half alone. You cannot play basketball like that and expect to be able to win games. So hopefully that was a wake-up call and they won't play like that again. But now they have to go into Minnesota and try and get home court back. And the most important thing, by playing the way they played in that first game, they gave Minnesota all the confidence to know that they can go punch that team and any other team in the mouth by playing more physical like they did in game 1, by Ant knowing that he can, go and perform at the highest level, which I think he already has a lot of confidence in himself.
Sure.
The one big advantage is there's a lot of veteran players on the Lakers who are going to get calls, and that seemed to frustrate Ant in the second game, where he was talking trash when LeBron made some comment and he was like, I want a technical. You're not getting technicals on LeBron James, Luka, and those kind of guys. Move past it. Don't let that go on. But anyways, I think this is going to be a good series. I think I took the Lakers in 5. I might amend that to the Lakers in 6 because I think this is going to be pretty tough. I don't know that it goes 7.
Yeah. I was disappointed game 1, much like you. They didn't come out with, I mean, I think they didn't play in like in 8 days or something, but still they didn't come out with more fire, more passion, more heart. They played better in game 2, but still there's still a lot to clean up. I know that what's the name? Anthony, what's the name again? From Minnesota? The good Anthony Edwards.
Anthony Edwards.
Yeah, he pretty much knows he can pretty much take anybody on the Lakers whenever he
can take anyone at any position in the game, I think.
He knows that. If his jumper is falling, then he's going to be a problem. But you give him to miss some shots, and you can contain him a little better. But I finally figured out why after watching last game why I don't like Luka's game, and because it reminds me of James Harden. It just clicked. He holds the ball for like 18, 20 seconds and tries to make a play with like 4 seconds left on the shot clock. And that's exactly what James Harden did and why I hate watching him play. I couldn't put my finger on why I didn't like watching Luka play, but now I figured it out. And the Lakers play so much better. The Lakers play so much better when the ball is given up and there's movement. And I think Luka doesn't really like to move that. Yeah, I don't think Luka likes to move that much, which is why he holds the ball for so long. I think that's why, but whatever.
He's a point guard who can't play point. I mean, it's just that simple.
Easy work.
When they're playing their best, it's because Luka is not getting the ball. I don't care what they call him at that point in time, but it's Austin Reeves bringing up the court or LeBron James bringing up the court. And they give Luka the ball, late in the thing where it's a little, he can do what he wants to do and hold on and all that kind of stuff. But if he brings the ball up the court and does exactly what you just said, the team sucks and they're no fun to watch.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I saw balls. Yeah, it sucks. Last series, Rockets versus Warriors. Golden State is up 1-0, but they were losing last I checked.
Oh, they're down by 20 with 2 minutes to go. This game is over.
So that game's over with. So it'll be tied 1-1 at the end of that.
I think Jimmy Butler only played 7 minutes. He hurt his back or something like that. But I had this going 7 with the Rockets winning. If Jimmy Butler's out, this is definitely a Rockets win. The Rockets just want to play physical, trying to hurt and trying to beat you up. I mean, that's all they really want to do to the Warriors, who are more of a finesse team. Except Jimmy Butler and Draymond, they're physical and maybe loony a little bit. But I noticed that Kuminga didn't play in game 1. He got a little bit of run in game 2. I'm not sure what the Warriors. I don't think when this series goes back to San Francisco for the next 2 games, I don't necessarily believe the Warriors are going to win both games. I think Houston is going to steal a game. I just think it's going to be like Brian said about New York and Detroit. It's going to be a dogfight. I don't think these games are going to be easy. Golden State could still win, but they're definitely going to have to earn this one against Houston. Houston's tough.
Yeah, one thing you can say about Jimmy Butler is he is tough. He has played injured in the playoffs. When he shows up in the playoffs, so if he's scheduled to have an MRI after his hard fall, it will take a real injury for him to be out. It will not take a lump. And if he is out, the Warriors are toast. And that's not to say that there's not a ton of talent and Stephen Curry isn't great or whatever, but there's something that you need, an X factor that you need. Yeah. And it used to be years ago, it used to be Clay. Yep. And Clay would get hot and he would just, just start lighting it up. Steph's been consistent, always has been consistent. And Draymond is kind of up and down and he's the emotional core of that team. But there's always been an X factor and it has to be Jimmy. And if Jimmy's not there, they can't overcome that, in my opinion. Yep. I hope he's not hurt. I do think that if he is not hurt, even with him bruised up and bumped up, they'll find a way to win. Maybe take 7 games, but if he is out, they are done.
Yeah,
fair. Yeah, good point. So that's hoops. Real quick, shout out to Greg. He said, I see his comment on the last show. He said, thanks for the shout out, but we got to step your NHL game up. This ain't gonna be the week, Greg. We're gonna run him down real quick.
Don't worry, Greg. I got you, my man. I got you, my man, because I'm watching the Kings game right now. We should be drinking. I got one thing to say.
All right, so we're gonna run it.
Yeah. Wait, I gotta give one shot to Greg. I bet on the Kings game 1, man, and we won. So we definitely got a shot to take on that one as well.
Most exciting. I'm going to talk about it in a minute. Most exciting hockey game I've seen in years.
All right, we're gonna run it down real quick. Eastern Conference, Maple Leafs and Senators.
We're doing this.
I'm just running it down real quick, just because we're a sports show, so people know what's up. Maple Leafs and Senators on the Eastern Conference. Toronto's up 2-0. Lightning and Florida. You got the Tampa Bay Lightning versus Florida Panthers. Florida's up 1-0. You got
that's going 7.
You got the Capitals and the Canadiens. Washington's up 2-0. Capitals are up 2-0. You got Carolina and New Jersey, the Hurricanes and the Devils. Carolina's up 2-0. You got on the west side the Jets versus the Blues. Winnipeg, the Jets are up 2-0. You got the Stars versus the Avalanche. That series is tied 1-1.
That's going 7-2. Go ahead.
Got it. Mm-hmm. You got the Golden Knights versus the Wild. So Las Vegas versus Minnesota. That's 1-1. And then the Kings and the Oilers.
That's going 5.
Kings are up 1-0, and the Kings are up in this game 5-2 right now.
Yeah, I'm mad because I got my bet in late. They started at 7. I logged in at 7:01 to get it in. So go Kings.
Yep. Yeah, they won that. So yeah, quick rundown. Shout out to the homie Greg, to Tristan. What's up, Cheryl? To the family out there, all my hockey people. Word. So just quick rundown because we're a sports show, so you know what's up. If someone brings it up in a trivia in a bar you're in, you at least know what's going on. So there you got that. Sliding to the league, to the NFL, man. Coop,
draft is tomorrow.
Draft is tomorrow. You had a couple thoughts, man. What you want to run down?
Yeah, just real quick, I got a question for both of you guys. Always just got me thinking, man, when I'm listening to all these people talk about the draft and who's going where, whatever. And I thought to myself, to me, I think there's a couple of positions that are the hardest to evaluate coming out of college, but I want to get you guys started. What position do you guys think is the hardest to project going from college to the NFL? Anybody can start.
I got my answer from watching interviews with GMs and coaches. So I'm a pick based off that. Brian, you go. Because mine's not my
defensive back. It's DB. I mean, it's one of the hardest positions to play, period. You're not allowed to touch the guy. You got to run faster than him. You got to jump higher than him. You've got to be able to understand where he's going. And the way that you have to read the offense and play the defense change dramatically from college into the pros. You can have a pro style offense, but they do not run the same types of defenses and looks, and they're not put in an island against the best players in college like they are in the pros. So it's DB for me.
Yeah. Well, Glenn, you go ahead since you're going from the GMs.
Yeah, mine's similar, but safety. It's safety. It's the same. It's the same kind of scenario, right? You're in the backfield.
Corner safety would be deep, both DB.
Yeah, if you're good, they don't throw at you. So you can't really tell. You're just kind of watching off their intangibles, hoping that you could figure it out. But that's
it's easy to avoid a good DB in college.
Yeah.
100%. It's funny. Be honest, none of us, we never talked about this before the show. Top two, number one, I was going to say DB. I've seen a lot of DBs going around one of a draft, and they have been trash in the NFL. And the ones that have been good are guys that go third round, fifth round, sixth round. Those are the DBs that shine in the NFL. And I'm going to add one more too, is defensive tackle. I don't know how the hell you evaluate a defensive tackle, because a lot of times in college, these guys are just overpowering the other offensive linemen from other conference, from the conference that they play in, and they're not going to be able to do that in NFL. I don't know how you evaluate that out of high school. I've seen a lot of 5-star recruits out of high school who had 25 sacks.
Right.
They go to college, came and get on the field. You know what I mean? So I think those are the two hardest positions to evaluate. Good job, fellas. Okay.
Yeah. Right.
All right.
Good question. Yeah, and we didn't talk about it. Coop, I found out about this question. What time is it? 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, I was like to say,
before we start the show.
Yeah, like 10 minutes ago. So,
all right.
Good.
yeah. So you had that. So we were saying let's run through the top. We're gonna do 12. I kind of say 12 to 15. I'm curious on who you guys think what kind of player you think the Falcons might pick at 15 with what happened with Penix. But we'll see where we're at as we get it started. So kind of thought process. I say we go kind of team by team, see what you think, instead of like doing your whole rundown. Does that make sense? So we go based off current order. You'd say first pick who you think, and then second pick who we all think, and then go that way. So
we'll bounce back 1-1. Yeah, we'll bounce back.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Okay. So start and current order, no trades. There's been no trades. I think this is one of the few times in NFL history where there's no trades. Like this is the latest there's been no trades, or one of the times it's been the latest with no trades in the first round. Nobody's moved up or down as of yet. So starting with the Tennessee Titans.
I don't know who the hell want to trade up in this draft, but yeah. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm kind of hoping we trade back. But yeah, Coop, who you got? First pick. Titans are on the clock. Who you think they take?
Yeah, so
right. He wore this hat for a reason.
I've always said the Titans were ludicrous for having faith in Will Levis, but at least it got them the number one pick. So last year's Tennessee's quarterbacks combined for 22 touchdowns and 21 interceptions. Cam Ward has to be the pick here. He easily makes the Titans better, and I'm going to say it right here, right now. They're a playoff team with Cam Ward. He's a playmaker, like Deshaun Watson was coming out of college, but Deshaun Watson was a better player coming out of college than Cam Ward. Still a little loose with the football or whatever, but he has very good instincts from the pocket, which you can't teach. And he fits Brian Callahan's offense, which is the number one thing. So I think Cam Ward makes Tennessee watchable next year, and he'll be the number one pick in the draft.
Interesting. I was going to be like, damn, playoff team. And I thought about who's in their division. Very, very
cool. It's Texans,
yeah.
Indianapolis, and Jacksonville. Yeah. This is not the hardest division.
I forgot about that. Good point. Yeah. Who you got, B?
Yeah, Cam Ward. That's easy.
Yeah, we all figure it's probably going to be the same. It only makes sense. He need a quarterback. He's the top prospect right now. Second pick, the Cleveland Browns. They're on the clock. B, who you got?
Who they getting?
Travis Hunter. So the Browns always, even if they always take the big name because they like to make splash because it's the only time that they do it. It's definitely not by winning. And Travis Hunter is by far the biggest name. He is also a very good talent. I don't know how
we got to see.
He'll fare. But I think the Browns will take Travis Hunter.
Cool.
Yeah. So my picks are pretty much who I think everybody should take. So I'm with you on this one, Brian. I think he's probably the best athlete in the draft. He's small, but you can't deny his talent. He did a lot of great things at Colorado. As desperate as Cleveland has always been, or like what you've said, they're going to let him play both sides if he wants to. They have Jerry Jeudy at wide receiver, who is okay, but the rest of the receivers I can't even name. I don't know who they are.
That's fair.
I hear people say quarterback. They got Joe Flacco, who pretty much is now he's the Kevin Willis of the NFL now.
They're spending so much money on quarterback right now.
Yeah.
That's right. I'd
They're
be
still
forgetting
paying
about this shot.
Watson. Yeah,
Yeah,
they're still
that's
paying
right.
Watson. They just got Kenny Pickett from the Eagles, who got a ring sitting on the bench. So yeah,
He,
I
he
think they go
played.
Travis Hunter.
He played a few meaningful snaps
Yeah,
at the end of the season.
he was the guy who lost to Washington. Remember, he was in the game those 3 quarters, and they lost to Washington, and they came back and beat him.
Yeah, it was a pretty good game up until then. Um, looks
If
like
you see me do this, it's because the
the
Kings have
Kings
scored
scored
yet
again.
again.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Afraid we should be drinking.
They should be taking you're right. They're going to take Travis Hunter. Who what I think is actually interesting is the dude
Yeah,
is Abdul Carter or
yeah.
Well,
Mason
Bill
Graham from
Carter is by
Michigan.
far the better player.
That
But
him and Miles
I just
Garrett
Cleveland ain't going to take him.
extremely interesting, but I do agree.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
if it was me and I'm building a team on Madden, I might probably take Carter because you put him with Miles
You're
Garrett.
smarter than
It's
that GM. Though.
ugly, bro. Like that's tough to block. It's crazy to block. And you already got Denzel Ward on the corner. You get someone else in a later round, you can go crazy. But yeah,
That's that position that Coop was just saying, so hard to evaluate in college. That being said, I don't know it's that hard to evaluate Abdul Carter.
Yeah.
He's special.
yeah.
He can play, but from what I hear, he has a medical issue that needs surgery, and he won't get it. So I don't know how that affects
I don't know
his
about
draft
that,
status. It's gonna be interesting. I don't know. We'll see.
That's fair. I don't know
He's
about
going
that.
number 3, so we can get to that one right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Mason Graham is interesting too.
Well, one thing about Travis Hunter, I think we need to say is Cleveland's going to let him play both sides. I don't think most teams will let him do that because I just can't see an offensive coach telling defensive coach, "No, you can't have him. He's playing with us on this side today." So I don't see how that works in practice. You can't go to practice half the time and play defense in the NFL. I don't think that works. But I think in Cleveland they'll let him do whatever he wants. I think that's important. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Giants. Brian,
Third pick, New York Giants.
Carter, best player. I know there's going to be some speculation as to whether or not they should take, someone else, Sanders, obviously, but they're going to, if they have half a brain, they're going to take Carter. They can't miss. And that's the thing. After watching one of their most important players historically go to Philadelphia, win an MVP and be part of the MVP conversation and win a Super Bowl, they have to pick someone that makes sense, that is above people being able to impugn. That is Carter. And I think that's another one that seems pretty easy to me.
Coop.
So all my picks are who I think each team should pick. I'm not gonna lie, I have no clue on what I think the Giants should do. But
when have you ever?
But if you are asking me right now, I think they won't be able to help themselves, you guys, and I think they're going to take Shedeur Sanders.
Really?
Jameis won't be there for long. Russell Wilson's contract is pretty much incentive based, so getting rid of him is not going to cost much. And then that DeVito guy they got, I think he's getting cut. I think is going to happen. Sanders is going to sit a year and then start the following season. Now, personally, I don't understand why teams that play in cold weather and have like thick wind, like New York and Cleveland, draft quarterbacks that don't have strong arms, or at least arms strong enough to cut through that wind, like Mark Sanchez and Johnny Manziel. But I think they won't be able to help themselves, and they're going to get Shedeur Sanders.
Fair.
We'll see.
I doubt it, bro, but I'm just based off the 2 quarterbacks, based off just losing that very important player Brian said. I think this is the first surprise, and they take Genty.
You're just hoping. Ain't gonna happen.
No, I mean, I could see if he's Barry Sanders, you put him in the backfield with a quarterback. They're gonna need offense. You only have
that's
what's his name
man.
you only got what's his name on the what's the boy's name? The receiver Neighbors is the only one out there. I mean, adding Abdul Carter's dope, but it ain't gonna make that defense unstoppable.
Hey man, you can't be calling.
They cannot miss. Yeah, no, there's no way.
Fair. I mean, it's gonna mess up the rest of the picks doing that, and I gotta remember I just said this, but it's more fun this way.
I'll remember.
You can't be putting him in Barry Sanders category, man.
No, I'm saying if you think he was close in ranking, he's superstar, offense wins games. You just lost Saquon. I don't know, and you didn't think they was gonna do anything. They did.
Defensive Rookie of the Year is a position that's relatively easy to win when you have a good player. And that's the kind of pick that the GM and this organization needs to make after the screw ups they've had.
Yeah, he needs.
So even if the defense doesn't become lockdown, picking a player who can compete for that type of award in their first year is going to be important for that group after completely blowing it last year off season.
Fair enough.
Anyways,
I mean, you could easily
Carter.
right. It makes it more fun to mix it up. But you're right.
Yeah.
Next up is the New England Patriots with new coach Mike Vrabel.
Is it on me?
Yep.
I think
Sure.
me. Yeah. Okay. So New England. So I think New England would be very happy if Abdul Carter dropped this far. Abdul Carter is a Mike Vrabel type of pick.
Yeah.
New England had the fewest sacks in the NFL last season. They can get offensive linemen, wide receivers, running backs, tight ends. They can get that later. I'm not really a big Stephon Diggs guy like a lot of people are, but I think Abdul Carter drops in New England and they'll be very happy.
Yeah, I think if Carter's gone, of course, if he's still there, I agree with you. But from what I have read, and I am not an expert in all things Patriots by any stretch of the imagination, it's been clear that they really, really feel like they need an offensive lineman like a tackle. The best of those
Sure.
is
Yeah,
Will
yeah.
Campbell. And so based off of those two things, I'm going to say that they're going to end up with Will Campbell.
There. I mean, I'm on with Coop because I already said I think this is like you said. If Carter's there, he's gone. Giants don't pick him in my scenario, so Abdul Carter goes to the Patriots. Up next, you got the Jacksonville Jaguars at 5.
B?
Yeah. So again, I think they want a defensive lineman. I think they've made that clear. So I think the player that I would put them is Mason Graham because he's number 2 after Carter. If Will Campbell or Carter were there, they will absolutely jump for one of those. There is a dark horse element to this that some people have said that they would like to draft Jainty because
I saw that.
they think he might be impactful. I don't believe that. I believe that they want to go with kind of the guts of what you draft, and that's linemen. So that's either offensive or defensive line. But if the Raiders are to be saved from drafting Genty, which I know Glenn is hoping for, this is where I think he might be a dark horse. That being said, Mason Graham is the person I would put on the board if I were them.
Yep. That's probably real. I kind of am curious about McMillan from Arizona because it's Jaguars. They got an offensive coach and they be doing kind of weird things. And they don't have
with no quarterback.
And they only got they got not Brian Burns. What's his name?
Brian Thomas.
Brian Thomas.
Jr.
Yeah, shout out to B Tom. That's one of my good friend's name. But yeah, so that's an interesting one. But you're probably right. I mean, Mason Graham would, if they're smart, that's what they do. But and Genty's there, it's possible he goes there. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Mason Graham on the defensive end.
Well, I think we're in triple agreement. Jacksonville had the second worst total defense last season, and that's with Trayvon Walker and Mason Smith, who's already on the team. So I think Mason Graham goes there and try to solve their defensive issues. I really don't know how good he's going to be in the NFL. I think maybe his ceiling's probably a little lower than, Abdul Carter and some other people, but he killed it at Michigan. So we'll see what happens, but I think that's the pick.
You got it. Up next, you have the Oakland Raiders of Los Angeles, Vegas.
Whoa. I don't see that on my list. Who?
Yeah.
Raiders of Los Angeles.
So the Raiders select at number 6. B, it's on you.
I have it on good authority that
That boy, he ain't said no names. He ain't picking nothing, bro.
Nobody's name.
What did Brady
I have
say?
a very strong inclination for reasons that others know and understand that this is going to be Ashton Genty's where he gets picked. The only reason I will put this out there, the only reason that Ashton Genty isn't the pick for the Raiders is if by some reason he goes earlier to Jacksonville. I don't think there's any chance he goes to the Giants, but that's the only chance. If he is there, yes, that is who it's going to be in my opinion. And I think this is one of those opinions that I feel strongly about.
Yeah, let's put a shot on it.
Done.
Cool.
Add me to the shot. Okay. Even Brian just confirmed after our conversation last week, just confirmed that my pick is right. I'm going with Ashton Genty as well for 3 reasons. This is before Brian. Brian kind of confirmed it. The Raiders were the worst rushing team in the NFL last season. You can't have that. They only ran for 1,357 yards last year, 3.6 a carry in a 17-game season. That's bad. You're going to have to get a running back. Chip Kelly's offense coordinator, so you definitely need a running back for his offense. And more importantly, Geno Smith is not at his best going out trying to win games or throwing 40 times a game. He is very good at play action, and you need a running back to run play action because you want Geno at his best. So I think Genty is the play. I don't think he's very fast, which is probably why he refused to run the 40 time. But if he's hard to bring down like he was in college, that'll work for the Raiders. And Pete Carroll can just use him like he did Lindale White at USC. So I think this is the pick.
We watched him play. Jalen
Yeah.
Walker out of Georgia, your newest Las Vegas Raider. Defense,
Right, so
surprising.
I'm gonna go, if for whatever reason Ashton JT isn't on the board, I think it's gonna be what is his name? Terrell McMillan.
Yeah, the McMillan. Yeah.
Arizona wide receiver. I think that's the backup plan.
He watches no film, man. Defense, nah, but it
Yeah.
makes sense to get offense, but I will say this. There is like one cornerback on the entire Raiders roster. So it would make sense to get 1, 2, 3, or 5 in this draft. All right, up next you have the New York Jets at number 7.
Yeah, I think
yeah, either way, I think it's Coop, but
It's on me. It's on me. Okay.
Go ahead,
I'll go.
Jason.
All right. So I got the New York Jets taking Tyler Warren, tight end from Penn State. I'm not saying he's a Hall of Famer, but he is good. I watched him 3 times last season, especially that USC game where nobody could cover him. He had 17 catches for 224 yards that game. Last season, he had over 100 catches for over 1,200 yards. He could play tight end, wide receiver, slot. Also threw a little bit last year. The Jets need something. They need some spark on offense besides Garrett Wilson. So I think Tyler Warren, tight end. I would like the Niners to get him, but I think he's the play, Brian.
I'm going meat and potatoes because I don't think they feel that they're a tight end away from being even competitive. And so offensive line, the next one on the list is Armand Mimbu.
yeah.
And so
Yep.
I'm putting his name out there. Again, I just think it's a meat and potatoes pick for the Jets this year. And he's the guy that is next up on that list.
Yep, I can see that. I got the same. Up next, the Carolina Panthers at number 8. Brian.
Yeah, I think this is going to be the first linebacker off the board, and that's Jalen Walker, who's supposed to be the best from Georgia. If for whatever reason they do feel like they can make an offensive splash with Tyler Warren, but again, I feel like trying to keep these in the middle of the playing field, and that's Jalen Walker at the linebacker, the best in the linebacker group.
Carolina.
Yep,
I have
Carolina Panthers.
I have the guy who I want the 49ers draft. It's not going to happen. It's McMillan, the receiver from Arizona. You have to give Bryce Young some help after what if he shows some really positive signs.
Yeah, he did.
After he came back from his benching last season, you have to give him some help. I've heard some people talk about, I guess, anonymous GMs or whoever. Some like him, some don't. He's probably not a true number 1 receiver, but I felt the same way about Amari Cooper. He's not a true number 1 receiver, but he can still be productive. And also, he's 6'4", so he can catch errant passes when Bryce Young throws it up. A lot of people were out on Bryce Young after his rookie year, but he kind of came back, and this is going to be his year. Got to get him some help. I think this is the pick, McMillan.
There.
Or I would make that pick.
Who else they got? Yeah, I can see that. I can rock with that. Actually, that would make sense. Offense, because they're gonna need some more help. They gotta score. Work.
Yeah.
All right, and then you got the New Orleans Saints at 9.
Yeah, New Orleans. So they lost Marcus Lattimore. They gave him to Washington. So I'm thinking they go Will Johnson, the corner from Michigan. Like we all said before, I think corner is extremely hard to evaluate. I'm not even sure this guy's even going to be that good. I would bet that he's not. But I heard he's a top corner in this draft, so I think that's where he goes.
B.
You want to go next?
Why? Who you think? Go ahead.
Go
Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
Well, because the shot I was going to put up for you, Coop, is I don't think there's any chance they go defense on this. I think offense. I will say that the pick that they should make is Jackson Dart, but I think that this is the team that is going to make the mistake of drafting Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was gonna say Shedeur too. I'm not gonna say it's a mistake because I got to see what he does. I'm gonna give him benefit of doubt, but that's my pick too.
Wow.
But I think, but if I were them, I would go with Jackson Dart, Shedeur Sanders. If in backup plan, if for whatever reason Shedeur isn't there, I could see them taking either McMillan or Warren if they're still on the board and they've decided not to go quarterback. But this is where I ultimately think
Yeah,
the
it's
mistake
almost
is
like you
made.
knew.
You're in the bayou.
It was like
Okay.
B knew I was gonna say it too. That was he had to look like, yeah, that was
Wow.
definitely my pick. That's funny.
Yeah. Well,
Same
yeah.
page. Same page. I think that's where he goes too. Sits behind Carr for a little bit. If Carr can play, if not, he could play. You're indoors. You don't worry about the arm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
that's true.
you could. It's gonna be exciting. New Orleans will get behind it. Yeah, I think that
I
makes some
guess
sense.
guess we could talk later if you think it's gonna be any good. But yeah, go ahead.
I
Go
mean,
ahead. That's
depends on
good.
who's out there, right? Who's their coach?
They got the guy who was coordinator for Dallas and Philadelphia last year.
Kellen
The
Moore.
quarterback of Boise, Kellen Moore. Yeah,
Yeah.
quarterback
All
of
right.
Boise.
So we'll
Yeah.
see. So yes, you got that. That's cool. Same thing. So number 10 is the Chicago Bears. Who y'all got?
All right, you
I'll
got
go first. I think this is going to be on the offensive side of the ball. Probably lineman if Mumbu, who
Yeah.
I mentioned earlier, is still there. I think he's a pick. Kelvin
Mm.
Banks is next up on the list.
Yep.
They do like tight ends there, so I could see Tyler Warren. And if for whatever weird reason, there's a whole bunch of people who say that the Bears really want Ashton Genty.
Yeah. I've heard
We're
that too.
assuming in this mock that there's no trades, but I could absolutely see the Bears trying to trade up to the Jacksonville spot to try and get ahead of the Raiders to take Genty. That was the one reason why I said that spot and Genty could go for Jacksonville. But assuming, in a world where we're not assuming for trades, I don't think Genty's there. I would go offensive tackle again, and Calvin Banks would be the next guy on the list. Again, I'm not pretending like I know all these people
agreed.
so well that I can, but next up on the list, they take an offensive tackle. He's that guy.
Cool.
all right. Chicago picked up some offensive linemen in the offseason, so I don't think they're going there. I think they're going to go in the trenches on the other side defense. So I think they're going to take Jalen Walker. I think they should take Jalen Walker, the edge rusher from Georgia. Pair him with. I think he's linebacker. Okay, yeah.
Linebacker and edge.
I had him going a little earlier.
I think he's with Monte. I think Sweat is there too, so you can pair it with him. So I think if I'm the Bears, that's where I'm going. That's the route I'm taking.
I got the lineman based on. I know they did. You're right. They absolutely did pick up linemen, but based on Ben Johnson and the offense he ran, and linemen were, you couldn't have enough of them, honestly. Like they were key. Absolutely, that line blocked. Watching that was a thing of beauty. So they're gonna need top guys, especially young guys. You ain't got to pay yet.
If there were another running back at JT's level, they would probably be taking him. I mean, that's just kind of what Ben Johnson wants to try and do. And so, but I don't think you can go with the number 2 running back this early.
Yeah, no, not. And we're all basing this off how they ran in the Lions, but yeah, I agree. Next up, the San Francisco 49ers of Santa Clara select. Coop, it's your team.
Of Santa Clara. If I'm the 49ers and everything shakes out the way I think it is, I think they should take Kelvin Banks, offensive tackle from Texas. Offensive line is the weakest link on this team. And
5 years at least.
Right. And Trent Williams can't play forever. Kelvin Banks, he played well. He held his own in these big games at Texas. I've probably watched more Texas games over the last couple of years since Vince Young was there. Vince Young, one of the 6 best college quarterbacks I've ever seen. But yeah, I think I would take Kelvin Banks as offensive tackle if I'm the 49ers.
Yep. B.
I think they're going to take a corner. I don't know who they value more, Will Johnson or JD Barron.
Yeah, they
but I feel like it's going to be a corner. And so it's going to be one of those two. If you force me to pick one, I believe that the grades have Will Johnson like micrometers better than JD Barron. So Will Johnson would be the guy.
They need a lot of stuff. I'm kind of curious about who's I just looking at? A linebacker they could use because they lost Dre. But I mean, I think like you said, they got to get a lineman. So if Banks is there, they got to take him. You can't even possibly skip on it. You have to get a lineman, man. That's been the biggest deal. And you're about to pay that boy Purdy all that bread. You got to protect him. Got to.
So this is another one where I've got a whole different side of the field because I think it's definitely a defensive player.
Wouldn't be surprised. Wouldn't be surprised. They've done it every year except Trey Lance. You wanted to also, you got the Cowboys next, Coop.
Yeah, Cowboys 12.
You want to go to them, and I personally actually say let's jump to the Vikes. I know it's further down, but just kind of what you think
Yeah,
they
no,
might
I
do.
think
You ain't got to
top
go
12 and then
player
just
by player.
Our from there.
Yeah.
But yeah, but the last one for Dallas, I'll just throw this out there. I think there's no chance that they don't take a wide receiver. The wide receiver I know that they want is McMillan. They've, I think, made it kind of clear. I don't know that he's going to be there, but if McMillan is there, they'll take him. If not, I think they'll take Matthew Golden.
Oh, they could trade with us for him. It's only 6 picks. Interesting. Go ahead, Coop.
If I'm Dallas, I'm taking the guy that I feel is probably the most underrated player in this draft. That's running back Amarian Hampton from North Carolina. He's Adrian Peterson light, not AP, just light. Poor man or whatever they want to call it. AP. He's a good hard
I've heard a lot
runner.
of good things about him.
Yeah, he's a good. I've saw him see him a couple years tear up not only Miami but other teams as well. He's a good hard runner. I think he's a starter from day one. And like Geno Smith, Dak is much better on play action, not sitting in the pocket trying to win games and throwing 45 times a game. I think this guy is going to be a good player. And I think, I know Genty's in the consensus number one, but Mario Hampton, he's a baller. He can play.
Sick. All right, so we did that. I was curious about, I don't actually want to go to the Dolphins, the Colts, and the Falcons. So
Well, we can
Rats.
real quick if you
Nah,
want.
I'm good. Jump to the Vikings. I was only curious about the Falcons because of the Penix pick where they might go, but it ain't that serious. Vikings, man, they're further down because they're
Atlanta wants defensive line.
Yeah, I'm thinking they go Shamar Stewart. That's my pick for them.
They had a chance to get
Anyways,
defensive line last year.
For the Vikes,
24th right now. No draft pick, no trades happen.
Yeah, the Vikings are absolutely going to be looking at the secondary. I think they desperately want a safety. Malachi Starks is the guy that I think that I've read a bunch about them, some targeting. Nick Emenwari, I was going to butcher his name, is another name.
Carolina.
And then JD Barron, if he somehow gets all the way down to 24 as a corner. But I know they really, really need a safety because they've lost some players at that position, and it's their defense being drafted as a secondary player into this defense would be a gift because
absolutely.
This is going to be a very good defense, and they just so happen to have an opening spot at safety, and so I think that's where they're going to put that there because I think they've decided that that's going to be a big part of their identity next year, and so they're going to go all in on the secondary. I'll say one more thing about the Vikings after you guys go, because I think something else might happen tomorrow or real soon.
Yeah, they could also, you look at where the Broncos are only at 20. So if one of them guys is there, that trade up isn't too far out the way. And the Broncos have made a lot of moves.
I worry they're going to make a trade, but it won't be to the Broncos to get to trade up. But I'll tell you in a second. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Coop.
I think if they keep this pick, they're taking a safety from South Carolina. But like you said, I don't think Minnesota's going to keep this pick as well. I think they're probably going to do something, but either trade up or trade down. But if they keep it, I'm saying it's going to be Nick, whatever his last name is, from South Carolina.
Yeah. What do you think, B? What are you going to say?
So I think they're keeping this pick, and I think they're taking a safety, and one of those safeties, as we just talked about over there. So here would be the most ironic thing ever. If I have gone on record and said, I think Penix starts the season in Atlanta. Yep. I think Cousins is gone. And now the big rumors is that the Vikings are willing to take $10 million of Cousins' contract and a trade back with the Atlanta paying 30, the other 24, because it's a $34 million deal. So wouldn't it be ironic if I also said JJ McCarthy, they were going to bring in a veteran to compete with JJ for the top spot. Wouldn't it be ironic if I get both of those things right? Because the Cousins ends back up on the Vikings as the veteran. Penix gets the starting job because he's gone, and I get to deal with Cousins yet again.
No way. Would they do that?
I have a lot of worry that this may happen, and if it does happen, it will likely happen after the draft, or at least after the first day of the draft, because the things that they would not be trading first round picks to get Cousins and that huge contract. It would be third, fourth, fifth.
You think they bring it back?
Well, Glenn, let me tell you why it makes sense. Number one, it's a win. This is literally a win-win. Atlanta wants to get out of that contract. They don't want him on the team. And Kirk Cousins has a no-trade clause in his contract. They just can't send him anywhere.
And where would he go? But where he's got a home and a house. He's still got his house there.
I think Minnesota's a play, and you got to think about it, they're not paying McCarthy money, so if they
Yeah,
can
he's a
give
rookie.
Kirk Cousins $10 million, I think that's
Oh,
a
that's
win-win
nothing.
because
Yeah, that's
he's
nothing.
off Atlanta books, and Kirk Cousins somewhere where he wants to actually play. I mean, because Kirk
That
Cousins
is
wants
my
to play.
conspiracy theory. And the thing about this
Interesting.
offense that the Vikings have is it makes people play well. He went down there and he did not look the same. I also,
Yeah,
I think
no,
the
it's
same
fair.
thing's going to happen in Seattle. This is my conspiracy theory. I'm not saying it's definitive, but I've seen enough smoke in the woods about it, right? There's been some talk about all of these different things happening. And as Jason just said, while I'm not excited about this prospect, it does kind of make sense.
That's an interesting
But it
thought.
would make me right 3 different times, and that
That's hella
I
funny.
love that.
That'd be crazy. No, you said Penix wasn't going to start.
No,
No.
I said Penix was going to
No,
start.
he said, what happened? No, Brian said
No,
that
you said
Penix
he
was
wouldn't
gonna
start game. He wouldn't start game 1. You said.
No,
Nope.
I said.
Oh,
Kirk Cousins
no. We're
on
talking about
that was
JJ
me.
McCarthy. We're talking about JJ McCarthy
Yeah.
would start.
JJ
So me and Coop
McCarthy,
said
I said they're going to
that's
bring in a
right,
veteran
and then he'd be right.
complete,
Yes. Okay.
and then
Yeah.
Cousins would be the
And then we
guy
said
that would
Penix
start the
starts.
No,
season.
but you're
Yes.
right. Brian did say Penix going to start, but I said if Kirk Cousins on that team still, Kirk will start because he makes so much money.
So much money.
So that's
yeah.
why Atlanta wants to get rid of him. That's why Atlanta
Yeah.
Yeah.
because they
No
want to get out that
chance. No
contract.
chance he's starting.
Yeah, I said Penix starts, and I said JJ starts. That would be interesting. Yeah, so that's funny. Yeah, that would be funny. I couldn't account for that, so you get it. Coop, you had one more question, and I think we got a little bit of time. Actually, we got probably
Yeah,
about 10 minutes.
just want to know if there's a player that you or Brian thinks is underrated or overrated. I know I mentioned my underrated player was Amarian Hampton. Just wanted thoughts. Any player.
I'm stealing your pick because I've done a little bit of reading, but not a whole lot. And he is the one name that I heard people think is really going to outshine his draft status. So
Yeah, he will.
I'm gonna steal your pick on that one.
Man, I'm going. I mean, I guess he's not underrated, but Walker, man, I think he might be good, man. Just every time I see it coming from Georgia, their defensive players coming good. We got another guy from Georgia that's pretty good on our offense. But yeah, man, I don't know. I'm curious. I'm curious to see what he does.
Yeah. Overrated player is 3. I'm not going to get into him too much. Shador Sanders. And when you hear people talk about Shador Sanders and
Oh,
his
but you've been consistent, boy. You've been
but
consistent.
but if you took out the name, and just hear the comments, he's accurate, but doesn't really have a great arm, not really that athletic. It's the exact same things that they said about Mac Jones when he came out of Alabama. These are the exact same attributes that they're saying about Shador Sanders. I really don't think he's going to be that good. Another overrated player I think is Jackson Dart, and then Colston Loveland, who's going to be drafted in the first round tight end. I don't think he's going to be that good either, but those are just my picks.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have
Imagine
anybody.
another player being in the conversation to be a top 5 pick that couldn't win the conference, that couldn't win a
Oh boy, it's been on his head.
couldn't win a bowl game, and somehow mysteriously before 1 week after he graduates before he didn't even graduate, but 1 week after he's done with school gets his jersey retired. Like,
Man.
Yep. Outside of the hype, he has shown nothing that warrants the kind of talk that he's going to get. Yeah, it's definitely
he went 13-12 in college. 13-12.
I hope
in
you're
the
right,
Big 12.
and we don't. I just don't. Old Raiders might draft him, man. I just hope. Please don't. Not like I think he could be good. I'm not saying my issue is not yours. My issue is we need other firepower in too many positions. Don't sign a quarterback and then don't do what the Falcons did, bro. We need too many players. I don't think they will though, based off what I'm reading.
Yeah.
Word.
If Kyle McCord plays, I think Kyle McCord would be better than Shador Sanders, maybe even Tyler Slaw, but I like Kyle McCord, sleeper.
Yeah. Word. All right, cool, man. So what about Hogwash? What you got this hella Hogwash?
Brian, you want to go?
Sure. All these people who keep on telling me Luka's great are hogwash. Y'all know who you are. I love you all as people, but Luka is not fun to watch. I sent you all a text. We won the game, and most of the game I was sitting there thinking, God, I really don't like watching Luka. He whines. He's the last guy up the court on defense. He's does all this weird flailing thing. He holds the ball. I don't like the way he plays offense. I don't like how he directs the team. And yet there's still so many people, all these people who are sad in Dallas who want Nico Harrison to be run out of town, and a whole bunch of people who are super excited about the fact that Luka will likely be a Laker for most, if not the rest of his career.
Yeah.
Because the one thing I will give Luka is he is a very loyal person, or at least it appears that way. He was planning on staying in Dallas and so on and so forth. But that does not mean I have to like it. And I just do not understand how all you folks who want to keep on telling me Luka's anything other than a guy on our team, that's hogwash.
Worldwide marketing dollars.
I got a double hogwash going back to the NBA. First is the Phoenix Suns, NBA's most expensive roster. Couldn't even make the damn playoffs. And they couldn't even make the play-in. That is a damn shame. KD, Booker, Beal, I never thought it would work. But
who did
to get proven right like this is like it's beyond my wildest dreams. My second
the only time it happens is when you bet against Westbrook, right?
No, right, that part. And the second hogwash, this is just recent. I just thought about it right now. I have to go to the GM of the Dallas Mavericks, who admitted he didn't know how important Luka was to the Dallas fan base. It's like, how did you become GM and you don't have your finger on that pulse? You're supposed to know right away how much he means and then do damage control once you agree to trade him. That's part of your job as a GM. So I would fire him just for even saying something like that, even admitting that. But I think he's hogwash as a GM, not even know your team like that.
How oblivious do you have to be to not know who the
right?
Like, I don't even like the guy. I understood that he was the heart and soul of the Dallas Mavericks.
Yes.
Yeah.
How do you not know that?
The double hogwash works guy ain't got one. And then we got game ball.
Got a game ball, B?
Yeah, absolutely. It's in this case a puck. It is absolutely the Kings. The first game was one of the most exciting hockey games I've ever seen. They ran out, jumped up to a big lead, got the crowd super excited, got the fans super excited, thinking there's no way that they can come back. Had a 3-goal lead. Then all of a sudden it was a 2-goal lead. Then they went empty net, made it a 1-goal lead, played it straight up, tied it, and then with 21 seconds left of the 5-5 tie, the Kings score the goal the goal to go ahead and win. Awesome. Tonight they did it again. This time it was 6-2. They went and scored 6 goals again to win. They're playing super exciting hockey. If my buddy Steve was right there in some of the best seats in the house, and there's a great big screen of him just on the glass, picture of him on the glass right after they scored because it was right in front of him. Hockey is by far one of the best sports to watch live and in person, if not the best sport to watch live and in person.
Definitely.
It is outstanding. A lot of times it's not as easy to watch when you're watching it on TV or get excited about, but the way the Kings are playing right now in the playoffs, in just 2 games so far, it makes it even easy to watch them watch these games on TV and root for them. It's exciting. It's fun. It's aggressive, and my game ball / puck goes out to them.
Yeah, man, that really was a good game. And for somebody who had money on it, put me through those ups and downs. I really didn't like it.
That's fun.
5-2, and I'm like, what the hell? So my game ball is going to. Again, it's my second game ball I'm giving to them. It's Detroit Pistons, man. They're just not in the playoffs. Just happy.
Yeah, they try.
They're not just happy to be here.
Fighting.
They're actually playing. They're fighting. I don't know who's the coach. I think it's Chauncey Billups. I think Chauncey Billups coached.
I'm not sure. I think it is.
But
Chauncey's. I thought Chauncey was in Portland.
In Portland, whoever's coaching Detroit. I guess we're gonna find out right now.
Yeah, Chauncey Billups is in
JB
Portland.
Bickerstaff.
It's Monty Williams. Oh,
JB Bickerstaff.
Yeah, I think he was in Houston. I think for a minute. Okay, so yeah, good for him, man. Getting that team playing ball, man. They can. I'm not saying they will, but they have a chance to actually beat the Knicks and get a first round playoff win, man. So good for them.
Sick. Mine is unrelated, honestly. It's crazy, but it's going to Ryan Coogler, man. Saw the movie Sinners. Pretty crazy.
Oh, yeah.
My damn feed is all. He's like the Kendrick of movies, man. I done seen 600 accounts breaking down every light fixture and but did you catch this part when they said this? It actually is a reference to this 1920s article. I mean, the breakdowns have been crazy, but the movie was pretty good. Really enjoyed it. So a lot of themes in there. If you're a scaredy cat, I get it why you wouldn't see it, but it's pretty solid. So I'm gonna give it to him. And he's from the Bay.
It's a lot of black people in that movie. Movies ain't that scary with a lot of black people in it. I'm sorry, it can't be. It can't be that scary. I'm sorry. It can't be.
That's a bit, bro.
Wow.
That's a
I'm just saying.
crazy rule. I don't even know how
I'm
that's
just,
a.
I'm just
Uh,
saying. It can't be that damn scary. Yeah.
you know
I'm
how
gonna
it
see
can
that
be,
movie.
Jason? It's in the
That's
What?
script.
yeah.
Okay.
That's a wild. That's a wild man. You be having some rules, boy.
Man,
Damn,
Wild
I didn't know.
take.
I know that was
oh
a
I
thing.
told,
man.
I
Where
said it last time. You got rules on top of rules on
yeah,
top
that
of
was
rules.
crazy. All right, fair enough. And
I'm gonna
then
see it. I'll let you
minute to
guys know.
win it. Just shout out to everybody that listens. My homie Algie, we had a great talk about basketball and its current state. How it's not as bad as I think it is. That's cool. Shout out to mom who watches. My people at work, friends, family. We appreciate every single one of y'all.
Yeah, I'm gonna let Brian close this. I'm gonna echo the same things. Thank you everybody for watching
You got it.
and
So
listening.
this one is kind of relates to all the folks on the podcast. But Trump has signed yet another executive order, this time targeting the accreditation process of colleges that have DEI practices. Now, at face value, it means he's going after the places like Harvard and who had DEI practices and just lost $2.2 billion worth of funding based on his sign. But when you look at it, you've got to remember which schools have the strongest DEI practices as the Trump administration would look at it, and that's HBCUs. And we've got to start thinking about or worrying about whether or not he's going to, with things like the accreditation process attacks, start trying to target HBCUs and other universities that are built on primarily diverse candidates like Howard, like Morehouse, like Spelman, Atlanta Clark, and so many others. It is now a real concern. And if you looked at it during his first administration, he frequently targeted, not directly, but always on the sly, HBCUs and HBCU funding, Black colleges and universities. And I believe, and I am worried about what this new EO related to taking away diverse schools who believe in DEI programs funding away, or accreditation away, that you're going to start seeing some not so subtle attacks on HBCUs. All of us, at least for some period of time, too, graduated, and I did not, but all of us went to HBCUs. All of us 100% believe in the value of HBCUs. Matter of fact, I wouldn't say value, the importance of HBCUs, because people who look like us aren't getting into some of these other colleges, and these institutions are some of the best. They care about the students. They're DEI enabled, and we all really need to be conscious of this, because this could be one of those FAFO moments for minorities who voted for Trump, seeing their colleges go by the wayside.
Yeah, something to watch. Sports Counterpoints podcast, April the 23rd, 2025. We will catch y'all next time. Peace.